Hello everyone, I'm Jamshid Beg, known as JB the Adventurer, a solo traveler and a travel blogger from Manchester, England with over 30 years of travel experience. In today's adventure, I'm going to explore the exciting and historic city of Peshawar, the provincial capital of KPK in the north of Pakistan. Peshawar is located in the broad valley of Peshawar, about 180 kilometers from Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. Peshawar is surrounded by a mountain range of three sides, with the fourth opening to the Punjab plains. The city is located in the general level base of the valley known as Gandhara Plain. Peshawar is the oldest city of Pakistan with over 3,000 years of rich history and diverse culture. It is the sixth largest city in Pakistan and the largest Pashtun majority city in the country. Situated in the broad valley of Peshawar, east of historic Khyber Pass, close to the border with Afghanistan. Peshawar was founded as the city of Peshawar on Gandhara Plains in the broad valley of Peshawar in 100 CE. It may have been named after a Hindu Raja who ruled the city, who was known as Purush. The city likely first existed as a small village in the 5th century BCE within the cultural sphere of ancient India. Peshawar was founded near the ancient Gandharan capital city of Pushkalwati near present-day Charsadda. In the winter of 327 BCE, Alexander the Great subdued the valley of Peshawar during his invasion of Indus Valley, as well as nearby Savat and Bonair valleys. Following Alexander's conquests, the valley of Peshawar came under the suzerainty of Seleucus Nicator, founder of the Seleucid Empire. Following the Seleucid-Mauryan War, the region was ceded to the Mauryan Empire in 303 BCE. Around 300 BCE, the Greek diplomat and historian Megasthenes noted the Peshawar, ancient Peshawar, was the western terminus of a Mauryan road that connected the city to the empire's capital of Patalipura near the city of Patna in the modern-day India state of Bihar. As Mauryan power declined, the Greco-Bactrian kingdom based in modern Afghanistan declared its independence from the Seleucid Empire and quickly seized ancient Peshawar around 190 BCE. The city was then captured by Gondophares, founder of the Indo-Parthian kingdom. Gondophares established the nearby Takhtabahi monastery in 46 CE. Peshawar's recorded history dated back to at least 539 BCE, making it the oldest city in Pakistan and one of the oldest cities in South Asia. In the 1st century of Common Era, Peshawar came under control of Kajula Kadphises, founder of the Kushan Empire. The city was made the empire's winter capital. The Kushan's summer capital at Kapisi, modern-day Bagram city of Afghanistan, was seen as a secondary capital of the empire, while Peshawar was considered to be the empire's primary capital. Ancient Peshawar's population was estimated to be 120,000, which would make it the 7th most populous city in the world at the time. As a devout Buddhist, the emperor built the Grand Kanishka Mahavira monastery. After his death, the magnificent Kanishka stupa was built in Peshawar to house Buddhist relics, which at time would have been the tallest building in the world. golden age of Kushan Empire in Peshawar ended in 332 CE with the death of the last great Kushan king Vasudeva I. Around 260 CE, the armies of Sassanid Emperor Shapur I launched an attack against Peshawar and severely damaged Buddhist monuments and monasteries throughout the valley of Peshawar. Shapur's campaign also resulted in damage to the city's monumental stupa and monastery. Kushans were made subordinate to the Sassanid and their power rapidly dwindled as Sassanids blocked lucrative trade routes westward out of the city. Kushan Emperor Kashika III was able to temporarily re-establish control over the entire valley of Peshawar after Shapur's invasion, but the city was then captured by the Central Asian Kedarite kingdom in the early 400s CE. The White Huns devastated ancient Peshawar in the 460s and ravaged the entire region of Kandahar, destroying its numerous monasteries. The Kanashka stupa was rebuilt during the White Hun era with the construction of a tall wooden superstructure built atop a stone base and crowned with a 13-layer copper gilded chhatra. Until the mid-7th century, the residents of ancient Peshawar had a ruling elite of Central Asian Scythian descent who were then displaced by the Hindu Shahis of Kabul. Islam is believed to have been first introduced to the Buddhist, Hindu and other indigenous inhabitants of Peshawar in the later 7th century. As the first Pashtun tribe to settle the region, the Dilzak Pashtuns began settling in the valley of Peshawar and are believed to have settled regions up to the Indus River by the 11th century. The Arab historian and geographer Al-Masudi noted that by the mid-10th century the city had become known as Parashawar. In 986, Peshawar's first encounter with Muslims armies occurred when Subagtin invaded the area and fought the Hindu Shahi under their king Anand Pal. On 28th of November 1001, Subagtin's son Mahmud Ghaznavi decisively defeated the army of Raja Jayapala, the son of Anand Pal, at the Battle of Peshawar and established rule of the Ghaznavids empire in the Peshawar region. During the Ghaznavid era, Peshawar served as an important stop between the Afghan plateau and Ghaznavid's garrison city of Lahore. During the 10th and 12th century, Peshawar served as a headquarters for Hindu Nath Panthi yogas, who in turn are believed to have extensively interacted with Muslim Sufi mystic. In 1179, Mahmud Ghori captured Peshawar, though the city was then destroyed in the early 1200s at the hands of Mongols. Peshawar was an important regional center under the Lodi Empire. Peshawar remained an important center on trade routes between India and Central Asia. The Peshawar region was a cosmopolitan region in which goods, people, and ideas would pass along trade routes. Its importance as a trade center is highlighted by the destruction of over 1,000 camel loads of merchandise following an accidental fire in Bala Hisar Fort in 1586. Mughal rule in the area was tenuous, as Mughal suzerainty was only formally exercised in the Peshawar Valley, while the neighboring valley of Savad was under Mughal rule only during the reign of Akbar. In July 1526, Emperor Babur captured Peshawar from Daulat Khan Lodi. During Babur's rule, the city was known as Bagram and he rebuilt the city's fort. Babur used the city as a base for expedition to other nearby towns in Pashtunistan. Under the reign of Babur's son Humayun, direct Mughal rule over the city was briefly challenged with the rise of the Pashtun king Sher Shah Suri, who began construction of the famous Grand Trunk Road in the 16th century. Peshawar was an important trading center on Sher Shah Suri's Grand Trunk Road. During Mughal Emperor Akbar's rule, the name of the city changed from Bagram to Peshawar. In 1586, Pashtuns rose against Mughal rule during the Roshani revolt under the leadership of Bayezid Pir Roshan, founder of the egalitarian Roshani movement, assembled the Pashtun armies in the attempt rebellion against the Mughals. The Roshani followers laid siege to the city until 1587. Peshawar was bestowed with its own set of Shalimar Gardens during the reign of Shah Jahan, which no longer exists. Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, governor of Kabul Mahabad Khan bin Ali Maidan Khan, used Peshawar as his winter capital during the 17th century and bestowed the city with its famous Mahabad Khan Mosque in 1630. Yusufzai tribes rose against Mughal rule during the Yusufzai revolt of 1667 and engaged in pitched battle with Mughal battalion nearby Attock. Afridi tribe resisted Mughal rule during the Afridi revolt of 1670s. The Afridis massacred a Mughal battalion in the nearby Khyber Pass in 1672 and shut the pass to lucrative trade routes. Mughal armies led by Emperor Aurangzeb himself regained control of the entire area in 1674. Following Aurangzeb's death in 1707, his son Bahadur Shah, first former governor of Peshawar and Kabul, was selected to be the Mughal emperor. As Mughal power declined following the death of Emperor Aurangzeb, the empire's defenses were weakened. On 18th November 1738, Peshawar was captured from the Mughal governor Nawab Nasir Khan by Ashfarid armies. During the Persian invasion of Mughal Empire under Nadir Shah. 1747, Peshawar was taken by Ahmad Shah Durrani, founder of the Afghan Durrani Empire. Under the reign of his son Taimur, the Mughal practice to use Kabul as a summer capital and Peshawar as a winter capital was reintroduced, with the practice maintained until the Sikh invasion. Peshawar's Bala Hisar fort served as the residence of Afghan king during their winter stay in Peshawar, and it was noted to be the main center of trade between Bukhara and India by British explorer William Moorcroft during the late 1700s. Peshawar was at the center of a productive agricultural region and provided much of North India's dried fruit. Taimur Shah's grandson Mahmud Shah Durrani became king and quickly seized Peshawar from his half-brother Shah Shuja Durrani. Shah Shuja was then himself proclaimed king in 1803 and recaptured Peshawar while Mahmud Shah was imprisoned at Bala Hisar fort until his eventual escape. In 1809, the British sent an emissary to the court of Shah Shuja in Peshawar, making the first diplomatic meeting between the British and Afghans. His half-brother Mahmud Shah then allied himself with the Barakzai Pashtuns and captured Peshawar once again and reigned until the Battle of Nowshera in March 1823. Ranjit Singh invaded Peshawar in 1818 but soon lost it to the Afghans. Following the Sikh victory against Azim Khan at the Battle of Naushera in March 1823, Ranjit Singh captured Peshawar. By 1830, Peshawar's economy was noted by Scottish explorer Alexander Burns to have sharply declined, with Ranjit Singh's forces having destroyed the city's palace and agriculture fields. Much of Peshawar's caravan trade from Kabul ceased on account of skirmishes between Afghan and Sikh forces, as well as punitive tax levied on merchants by Ranjit Singh's forces. Ranjit Singh's governor also required Peshawar to forfeit much of its leftover agricultural output to the Sikhs as tribute. Singh appointed Neapolitan mercenary Paolo Avitabile as administrator of Peshawar, who is remembered for having unleashed a reign of terror. His time in Peshawar is known as the time of gallows and gibbets. The city's famous mosque Mohammed Khan, built in 1630 in the Jewelers Bazaar, was badly damaged and desecrated by the Sikh conquerors. The Sikh Empire formally annexed Peshawar in 1834 following advance from the armies of Hari Singh Nalwa, bringing the city under direct control of the Sikh Empire's Lahore Darbar. An 1835 attempt by Dost Muhammad Khan to reoccupy the city failed when his army refused to engage in combat with the Dal Khalsa. Sikh settlers from Punjab were settled in the city during Sikh rule. The city's only remaining gurdwaras were built by Hari Singh Nalwa to accommodate the newly settled Sikhs. The Sikhs also rebuilt the Bala Hisar fort during their occupation of the city. Following the defeat of the Sikhs in the First Anglo-Sikh War in 1845-46 and the Second Anglo-Sikh War in 1849, some of their territories were captured by the British East India Company. The British laid out the West Peshawar cantonment to the west of the city in 1868 and made the city its frontier headquarters. Additionally, several projects were initiated in Peshawar, including linkage of the city by railway to the rest of British India and renovation of the Mohammed Khan Mosque that had been desecrated by the Sikhs. British suzerainty over region west of Peshawar was cemented in 1893 by Sir Mortimer Durrand, Foreign Secretary of the British Indian government, who collaboratively demarcated the border between British-controlled territories in the India and Afghanistan. British built Cunningham Clock Tower in celebration of the Golden Jubilee of Queen Victoria. And in 1906 built the Victoria Hall, now home of Peshawar Museum, in memory of Queen Victoria. The British introduced Western-style education in Peshawar with the establishment of Adventist College and Islamia College in 901 and 1913, along with the several schools run by the Anglican Church. For better administration of the region, Peshawar and the adjoining districts were separated from the Punjab province in 1901, after which Peshawar became capital of the new province. Peshawar emerged as a center of both Hindu and Pashtun intellectuals during the British era. Peshawar was also home to a non-violent resistance movement led by Ghaffar Khan, a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi. In April 1930, Khan, leading a large group of his followers, protested in Kisa Khani Bazaar against discriminatory law and had been enacted by the colonial government. Hundreds were killed, when a detachment of British Indian Army opened fire on the demonstrators. In 1947, Peshawar became part of the newly created state of Pakistan and emerged as a cultural center in the country's northwest. The partition of India saw the departure of many Hindu-speaking Hindus and Sikhs who held key positions in the economy of Peshawar. Until the mid-1950s, Peshawar was enclosed within a city wall and 16 gates. In the 1960s, Peshawar was a base for CIA operations to spy on the Soviet Union, with the 1960 U-2 incident resulting in an aircraft shot down by Soviets that flew from Peshawar. From the 1960s until the late 1970s, Peshawar was a major stop on the famous hippie trail. During the Soviet-Afghan War in the 1980s, Peshawar served as a political center for CIA and the inter-services agencies trained Mujahideen groups based in the camps of Afghan refugees. It also served as a primary destination for a large number of Afghan refugees. By 1980, 100,000 refugees a month were entering the province, with 25% of all refugees living in Peshawar district in 1981. The arrival of large number of Afghan refugees strained Peshawar's infrastructure and drastically altered the city demography. Like much of northwest Pakistan, Peshawar has been severely affected by violence from the attack by the terrorist group Tehreek-e-Taliban. Local poets' shrines have been targeted by the Pakistani Taliban. A suicide bomb attack targeted the historic All Saints Church in 2013, and most notably the 2014 Peshawar school massacre, in which Taliban militants killed 132 school children. Peshawar suffered 111 acts of terror in 2010, which had declined the 18 in 2014 before the launch of Operation Zarb-e-Azab, which further reduced acts of violence throughout Pakistan. Peshawar has been through so much in recent past. However, it's all in the past now, and Peshawar is shining again and ready to receive national and international visitors. Exploring the world and sharing these exciting adventures is a passion of mine. Be a part of my passion by hitting the like button and share this video as much as possible. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future adventures. So see you next week with a new adventure. Ciao.